Debbie Bratton here this evening from St. Robert, Missouri, and I'm going to show you how to make this no glue box. And just look how big this box is. It holds a lot. Hi Donna, hi Jody, hi Judy. So I'm going to tell you that I had to make a couple of these just because I wanted to be sure I showed you the easiest way to make them. So it took me a little while to figure out like some hints, but I think I have it figured out and this should be really easy for you. So let's get started. We're going to start with a piece of cardstock. I picked Calypso Coral for this one I'm going to make now. And it is going to be 8 by 11. So you just have to cut a ½ an inch off the 8-inch side, like this. Okay. So it's easier for me to see my scoring when I use my scoring board. You can use your cutter, and that's great. It's easier for me since I can't lean right over and look at the cutter real good. It's easier if I use the scoring board. We're going to put the short side at the top, the 8-inch side at the top, and we're going to score at 1, and we're going to score at 7. I'm going to kind of do them twice just because with this box you have to be sure all your lines will fold easily and everything so that you don't need to use the glue. Okay, then we're going to turn it so that the 11-inch side is at the top, and we're going to score it at 1, and we're going to score it at 2, and we're going to score it at 6, and we're going to score it at 7. Okay. That's all the scoring that we're going to have to do with the scoring board. We do have to do a couple more scores, but they'll be with a ruler. Okay, so to start with, I know it's really hard to see, but I have a sample here that I marked out. So we're going to cut off the square that's right here at the bottom where you have the 1 inch. This is going to be the lid. So that's what I have. I have one big rectangle, a second big rectangle, and a square that's by each one of them. So we're going to cut out these first little squares. Okay, so that one. And then we're going to do this one. All right. Now the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put in these diagonal lines. So what I did on this sample one is that I marked them with a pen so that you could see very clearly. You want to go from the outside corner down to the inside corner, the bottom outside corner to the top, and like that. And how you would do that is you would get a ruler and you would just lay it here from this corner to where the two score lines meet. And then I have my score here. And I'm going to use the small side, and I'm going to do it 2 or 3 times just because I want a good score. The better I score it, the easier it is going to be to fold. It's kind of hard to see in this light exactly where those score lines are. Okay, so I'm going to go from this corner to the score line. Then I'm going to move up here, because that's just how I've been doing it, and do this one. And again, I'm going to do it a couple of times because I just want to be sure. This time I'm going to use this outside corner, and I'm going to go to this inside corner. You won't believe how many I made today because I kept messing up these score lines. I'm going to show you later. Okay, and then this one, I'm up here at this one, so it goes from this outside corner to the inside corner. Right like this. And I'm going to score it a couple of times. Just to be sure. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to fold are these long sides. Now since we have no glue, we have to really get a good crease. So I had everything laying here. We're going to take our bone folder and we're really going to put some muscle into it. We're not going to go back and forth. We're going to take it and we're going to very as firmly as we can, pushing down as hard as we can, go up like this. Because we want it to lay as flat as we can get it without, you know, tearing our cardstock or messing it up because we fold it so hard. So, and then I'm just going to do it once or twice on the other side. So, can you see how it's almost flat? So then we're going to do this side. I'm trying to do it so that you can see. And I'm just really pushing just as hard as I can. I'm getting a line in my finger from how hard I'm pushing on the bone folder. I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to do it again this way. Now I found that if I leave these two folded and then I start making my other creases, it works out better. So I'm going to fold down to this first scored line. And again, now you're really going to have to put some pressure on. These do not have to lay as flat as the two long sides. And next we're going to do this score line. This is going to be the back of the box. This is the top of the box. And then we're going to do this score line. This is going to be the front of the box. And this is going to be the tab that folds in. Okay, so now that we've got it, see how this side now is laying really flat? I could maybe get this side to lay a little bit flatter. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to round these corners. Now, I could try to use the triple rounder that we have, but it was hard to fit it on there, so I got out this corner rounder because it's easier with how much paper I have here. And I'm just going to slip it on here. Make sure my corner's in the corner of the punch there. And I'm going to round that corner. Now, if you don't have a corner rounder, you can kind of just trim it. It just makes it fit easier when it's a flap. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this flap up And I have my 3/4 inch circle punch here. You can use a 1/2 inch. You could even use an inch. But we just want to make, what we're going to do now is just make this little half circle there for the lid so it's easy to open. So we're just going to find the middle and just go in about that much. So now that will make it. Okay, so now here we come for the part that I just took 5 different boxes to figure it out. But I have it now. So what we want to remember is that this is the front of the box and it's going to stand up. This is the side of the box and it's going to stand up, and the corner is going to fold in on its score line. So you want to get it up like this and then fold that in and fold your corner so that they meet like that. I hope that makes sense to you. Then you're going to kind of lay it down here. I know this part's really hard to see. And you're going to take your bone folder and you're going to try to crease it as much as you can. And then we're going to do the same with this one. The corner goes in. The corner goes in because this side comes up. And they will meet right here. See what I mean by it's a good thing. That's why you have to get that corner as scored as much as you can so that it will bend easy. Otherwise you mess up the side of your box. Then I take my bone folder. I hope you can see that. And I kind of just be sure that those corners are down. Now we're going to do it to the back. On the back, this is the back. And it's going to be up. These are going to be up, but these are down. So, if you can see how that's going to work, you want the corner to go, you want the back to be up. See, mine keep wanting to go out, and so you have to push them in. This is going to be flat. This is going to be up. And there's your corner. You just kind of have to work with it a little bit. Once you understand how they're supposed to go and how to line them up, it's much easier. And so I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This side's up, this side's down, and I want the back. And these will meet. I know it's kind of awkward to show, but as long as you have that score line in there, they're going to work out great. I hope that makes sense. It just takes a little bit of practice to remember how those back ones go. Now you have this. You have a flap here and a flap here. And that is where your tab is going to go. I just have to work with this side a little bit. Okay. Oh, voila. A box with no glue. And when you open it up, you take this and slip it out and it opens up. And so you can make a bunch of these and just have them laid flat until it was time to put them together. So let me get this back together again. Here we go. I didn't get this one in the tab. You gotta be sure to get them both in the back tab. Otherwise, it doesn't hold together. It's all just kind of hold together because of the way you folded it. Okay, there we go. Now, I want to decorate the top. So, instead of making you all sit here through it, I just already made it a top. The measurement for the top is the background cardstock is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, and the piece of DSP is 3 1/2 by 5 1/2. And I cut out a dragonfly with the punch. I put on a little ladybug here. Now, this is what I wanted to show you. Remember yesterday, if you watched my weekly tip video, we did the gilded leafing. Well, we sell this stuff. It's called an adhesive foam sheet. It's kind of like are dimensionals, only there's no dimensionals cut out of it. And so it's sticky on both sides. So what I did is I bought the Playful Alphabet here, which just let me show you all the letters. I left the V out so that you can see when you go to put them back, you know exactly where they go. And so if you're missing one, you know where they go. And I cut them out of the foam like this with the mini Stamp and Cut Emboss machine. And then I put them, and then I did the gilded leafing on them. I didn't do that live again because I did that yesterday. We know how much of a mess I made. So I just wanted to show you, but look at, they're like raised letters because it's that foam. And then they're sticky on both sides, so you just stick it down. So now I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back here. And yesterday my adhesive quit working and I found out why, because I had some gilded leafing stuck in my roller. So now it's working. It just has some that hangs out because I couldn't get it to all wind up in there tight enough not to do that. But it works perfectly fine, and that's what happened. There's nothing wrong with the Stampin' Seal. It was the piece of the leafing got stuck in there and got all wound around. Okay, then we're going to put this on here. And voila. Now you might be wondering, what can I put in these boxes? So I'm going to show you some of my mistake boxes that I finally folded and refolded and everything and got them right. And I could show you what you could fit in them. So here's one I made out of cherry cobbler. This one, I put in a little note that says, make today ridiculously awesome. And this would be like maybe for my downline or for a beginning stamper. But I just have all these cutouts and different things that I have in a little box that I keep. Some of my words from many messages, some bows from Christmas, some frames. And so you could, I'm telling you, a beginning stamper or a friend that stamps would just love to get that. Okay, so you didn't. Oh, my letters weren't close enough for you to see. Okay, can you see them? I'm holding them up here now. And maybe you can see them. I didn't see that when I was showing them Jody. And then when you kind of like turn it sideways, you can kind of see that they're raised. They're probably just about as high as a dimensional because that's what they are. It's just kind of like a dimensional sheet. So I'm hoping, I don't know why it looks to me like I'm right in the middle, but I'm not. So I moved it over a little bit. We'll see if that helps. If you can kind of just see them. They're just raised just the same amount as a dimensional would be. So, okay. So, this is a mistake box because, you know, I did 8 of these before I finally figured out the trick so I could show you how to do them easily. So here's another one made out of Highland Heather. Now this one could again be for a beginner stamper. And I put in a Stampin' Spot. I put in some little bags that I got in my July paper pumpkin. I put in some little envelopes so they could make some little note cards. You could put in some 3x3 note cards in here. So that would just be great. Or you can make up some 3x3 note cards and give somebody a whole set of note cards to send or to give away. All right, let's see what else we have here. Another Calypso Coral one. This one, maybe as a birthday gift, you could give somebody some Stampin' Seal. Or maybe just the refill. Look at, it fits in there. You'll hardly ever get a box, especially a no glue box that is this big. Okay, now this one, because of course sometimes we just have to give chocolate. This one, I didn't have enough, but if I had enough, it would fit at least 16 Hershey Nuggets in there. Or I was thinking maybe, if I could have gotten out to the store today, but my driveway's still snowed in, a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, or a small Hershey bar, or just some different things. Now, if I really was going to put 16 Hershey Nuggets in here, I might cut a thin piece of cardboard and adhere it to the bottom just to give it a little bit more stability. But I hope you like my no glue box, and that you'll just be making them. And if you do, please join my groups, Nana's Stampin' Friends, and you can upload your projects. We love to see them. And if you see this butterfly here, you might be wondering, what set does that butterfly come from? Or how can I get that butterfly? If you join me Monday for my weekly featured product, I'm going to show you what's coming up for March. And another thing is, February 28th, 10 days from now will be the end of celebration. And we will have another celebration July and August, but for this first one, it ends February the 28th. So if you've been thinking about getting one of those free sets, you'd want to get your order in early. And I posted my hostess code. If you use my hostess code and you spend $50, I will send you a mystery box full of retired Stampin' Up! Goodies. I have some stamp sets. I have some ink pads. I have DSP. I have, like I showed you, I have a lot of little cutout things that I have in a box that I like to give away. So, I hope you all have a good evening. Any questions or anything, just comment and I will answer, or you can message me. Have a great evening. Bye.